Okay, you've got my screen, hopefully. I'm just looking at it. Part of my background is also doing, I've sort of moved from journalism partly into also now doing industrial plans for the metro, the Eastern Cape Metro, and then doing master plans and stuff. So what I've found very interesting and really important around the Walvis Bay corridor is it's driven by government. There's government in buy-in. When I first started doing industrial plans, we kind of looked to see how we could do it without government, and you can't. So you're actually doing quite a lot right, but we'll go through that. So I just quickly, just to set the scene, I mean, we're talking to logistics people, it's just quite interesting. The Chartered Institute of Logistics defines that you're getting the right product, right quantity, right condition, right price, right time, right to the customer at the right price again. So they like right lots of times, right place, sorry. Very kind of referred to this. So let's just see how you're doing. In the past year, the main, this is quite interesting, is that to me, anyway, the main mission of logistics was to deal with the spatial distance by increasing transport efficiency. And now an important theme is not only speed, but also how timely goods can be delivered to consumers. So in other words, how reliable is it? And you guys do have a reliable corridor. You don't have the waiting times for the vessels outside. You don't have as many wind problems as we do in South Africa or at Kuche as well. So you actually, so it's a timeliness of goods, and that's, yeah. Systems essentially can use functions such as transportation storage to adjust the amount of time and location of goods. So you need that kind of flexibility. Now, I've been going to Namibia now once a year for a feature, I think for the last 12 years. And it's been very interesting to actually see how you guys, how Namibia has actually done that. The investment that's gone into the ports, the investment that's gone into logistics, into trucking and that sort of stuff. So you're kind of getting it right. It's not perfect, as everybody knows. And then your enabling environment, I was talking about the government earlier. So your business enabling environment includes the norms and customs, laws, regulations, policies, international trade agreements, public infrastructure, and they'll either facilitate or hinder the movement of product or service. So what we look at when we do this kind of research is there an enabling environment? If there's a problem with crime, there isn't an enabling environment. If there's no water, it's not an enabling environment. If the legislation isn't in place, that's a huge problem. So all of those fit together, as I think Vali was talking earlier, and Hippie, you know, everybody has to work together. And through the Walvis Bay Corridor Group, you've actually, Namibia's got a mechanism to do it. None of the other corridors that we see, that I've seen, have actually got as good a mechanism. They're called informal, or they're folded, or there isn't enough funding. You've got a really important enabler there in the corridor movement. I think globally, so governments develop infrastructure and basic services. So what we've seen here, like in Port Elizabeth, where Kuche was built, and Port of Kuche, no private enterprise is going to build that port. You're going to lose money. The concrete bits that make up the port isn't money. So government has to do that. Government has to put in the roads, and government has to put in the facilities that actually make it happen, that enable business to actually pay taxes, basically. The ability of governments to nurture conducive enabling environment is a key differentiator. And that just comes through the research all the time, and the experience we see around Africa or anywhere else. It's government actually creates that enterprise. So you've got Johnny fixing up the railways, or Johnny and his team. That's an incredibly important enabler. A clear, stable, transparent policy. The Namibian government, from what I can see, has got a clear policy. They know what they're doing. They're a country with a plan. There's no other country in this region which wants to be the logistics hub. And then the capacity of public institutions to plan, prepare, and deliver. Capacity is a problem throughout Africa, and it was referred to a couple of times today. We shouldn't have those problems, but we do. We must sort them out as Africans. Namibia, your master plan vision, which is to transform yourselves as a whole nation, talking to people outside as well who don't know this, but I mean, this is driven by government. And it's actually quite critical that it's driven by government, because they put the enabling thing in place. So therefore, we've got the bridge across the Zambezi. You've got the railways fixed. You're getting the railways fixed. You've got the road infrastructure that actually works. You know, people kind of talk with a plan. And even though when we meet with people in Namibia, you find sort of there's differences of opinion or tensions between the different bodies. At least there's a kind of a common vision, which is fantastic. Your definition of an international logistics hub, I found 5 elements. You've got an efficient port, which yours is, as we were told much earlier by Tino, several times how efficient you are, and then storage, operation base for logistics. So that's coming on. 10 years ago, there wasn't storage as there is now in Belfast Bay. The last time I was there earlier this year, there was actually spare space, which isn't great if you're the owner of the space, but is great if you're trying to develop it. Efficient transport network. The moment your trucks are running well, the roads are really reasonably good, but that cost does need to be brought down. Collection and distribution of goods, international logistics company, they're there. And cross-border arrangements that's come up that you've got to sort out. And we have to sort that out in SADC. And that's from the master plan, so nothing from me being bright. So those are 2015, that's the master plan, that's it. And if you look at it, quite a lot of that's actually been achieved. And it's always nice to have someone from outside looking at you, because we all kind of think we're not doing particularly well in things most of the time. But you're doing those things. That's your development scenario. That again comes from the master plan, and it's just the sort of structure. So by 2020, if you measure it, certain things I don't think you've got there yet. You haven't removed all the bottlenecks. You are starting to take a good share. You're starting to take an increasing share of the market, and then we sort of go up to 2025, the long-term goal, to get an industrialized economy. Your Vision 2030. This is an interesting study, a GAIN group, commissioned by the Netherlands Enterprise Agency. And I'll diss myself or our country. South Africa's logistics landscape is the most sophisticated on the continent. However, logistics takes place in an environment of neglected maintenance and accompanying infrastructure degradation and relatively high logistics costs. So if we look at what Namibia is doing, you guys are trying to maintain your roads, you're trying to fix it, you're trying to build it. We're allowing stuff. Our focus isn't on logistics as a country. If you look at the policy speeches, you look at the budget speeches, logistics is kind of doesn't take a center stage, as it hardly features at all. And then that's what they say there is at present, many organizations in South Africa don't have the skills to utilize digital technologies effectively. And all skills things. If Namibia upskills itself faster than we do, you're going to have an advantage. Particularly, I loved what Hippie said earlier about the COVID being the, I'm going to use it by the way, the COVID being the new non-tariff barrier, and the whole digitization that's coming on. So the people who've got the skills to do that are the ones who are going to go forward. This is South Africa. So the point, this is from President Ramaphosa's speech earlier this month, I think. So these are our proposed logistics projects. And they're going to create jobs. So the focus is on creating jobs. The focus isn't on creating an efficient logistics infrastructure. There's nothing there that says anything about rail. And there's the Buchabai port and rail infrastructure. So we want to take on Lüderitz. We want to build another port at Buchabai to take our manganese out. As a person in Port Elizabeth, I'm happy with that because less will come past my doorway. But that's just personal. But yeah, so it's just it sort of gives you an example of where our priorities are. What we are doing right. The new management, I haven't detected with them much at TPT. They different mindset. They're great. I love what they're saying. I love what they're saying publicly, and the kind of strategy that they are sharing with people. One thing is TPT is operating its terminals 24/7, 7 days a week. In Durban, a congestion task team consisting of the private sector and public sectors got together. So after throwing bricks at each other, they actually sat down and talked, and they've sorted it out. They've got an automated truck booking system. It's coming right. I mean, Durban has structural problems like a Dar es Salaam or something like that, where the trucks are going to go through the middle of town to get to it. You know, so you're always going to have problems. And then yeah, so it's one of the few sub-Saharan cities with a fully formed example of a port-city interface. 2010, it dates back, drafted a long-term development plan, Durban to Gauteng Province Freight Corridor. So they're actually working with the local authorities. Again, it's government, local government now, creating the right environment. And then Cape Town also, the industry got together, and the delays seem to be under control. It's working. This is sort of Tino's, partly Tino's things that came through. So that's just an interesting thing in terms of time to export, how long it takes to export and all that. Mozambique is actually the cheapest in amongst your competitors for exporting, but then Namibia is the cheapest for importing. It's cheaper than South Africa, which is actually quite expensive on both. And oh shoot. I've just pressed the wrong button, sorry.
No worries.
What are you seeing?
Nothing yet. I think you need to share again.
It's my last slide, just about anyway. So okay, so as I say, where it's very sort of outlined and others, there's stuff that still needs to be done, but your costs are actually not bad, and so this is your world cost of bank cost of doing business 2020. Namibia, the exports were fish to Spain, and the import was motor vehicle parts from South Africa. So it just gives you a kind of benchmark. But yeah, not doing badly at all. And that's it.